"Sir," I said, "step away from the casket, now." The voice was sharp, cold, and way too loud for the quiet terminal. Heads turned. Conversations died mid-sentence. All eyes locked onto the young Marine standing at attention beside a flag-draped casket. He didn't flinch, didn't blink, didn't even look at the TSA agent who now had two others approaching from behind, all in black uniforms, hands hovering near their belts. This wasn't just any Marine. He was a tomb guard, one of the most elite and disciplined soldiers in the entire US Army, trained to protect the tomb of the unknown soldier with unwavering precision. And today, he wasn't guarding the unknown. He was escorting someone very known, someone personal. Lying beneath that folded flag was his brother, Lance Corporal Tyler Grayson, killed in action during his third deployment. 23 years old. The two had joined the military together, swore to watch each other's backs, but only one of them came home breathing. The flight had landed quietly. The family was waiting near baggage claim, but as the honor escort wheeled the casket down the terminal, something happened. Something humiliating. The tomb guard had deviated slightly from the expected route, escorting the casket closer to the window so it could pass beneath the open sky one last time. That's when security stepped in. "You're violating federal movement protocol," the supervisor barked, stepping between the Marine and the casket. "I don't care what ceremony you're part of. Airport rules apply to everyone." People started filming. You could hear murmurs, gasps, someone quietly crying. But the Marine remained silent. Perfect posture, eyes forward, hands by his sides. Not even the trembling in his jaw betrayed what he was feeling inside. The TSA agent took a step closer, raising his voice now. "You think wearing a uniform means you get to ignore orders? Who do you think you are?" The Marine finally moved, slowly, deliberately. He reached into his coat and pulled out a black leather folder. Inside, a Pentagon-issued authorization letter signed by the Secretary of Defense himself. He handed it over without a word. The agent grabbed it, scoffing, but as his eyes scanned the seal, the signature, the clearance codes, his face drained of color. "You're escorting a direct family member?" he asked, voice suddenly quieter. The Marine nodded once. "And you're a tomb sentinel?" he added, this time with something close to respect, maybe even shame. The agent took a shaky step back. By now the terminal had fallen completely silent. The casket was still, the air thick. Behind the Marine, the family stood in tears. His mother with trembling hands over her mouth, his father gripping the arm of his younger sister just to stay upright. The Marine turned, walked back to the casket, and gently placed one gloved hand on the flag. Then he did something no one expected. He knelt. Not because he was ordered to, not because it was protocol, but because in that moment he wasn't just a soldier, he was a brother saying goodbye. A little boy in the crowd dropped his toy and whispered, "Mom, is he a hero?" She nodded, holding him close, and then the TSA agent, still holding the document, took off his hat. One by one, people began to remove their caps, their hoods. A woman placed her hand over her heart. A teenager stood up straight, and without being asked, without an announcement, the terminal full of strangers formed two silent lines down the center of the floor, creating a path. The Marine stood, adjusted his cover, and began to walk again. Behind him, the casket moved slowly, and ahead of him, not one obstacle remained. That line of strangers? Many of them had no military background, no personal connection to the fallen, but every single one stood in reverent silence, tears in their eyes, honoring a man they never knew because they saw something holy happening in front of them. By the time the family passed through, even the TSA agents were standing in formation, heads bowed. When they reached the exit, the Marine paused, looked back, and in that second, the truth hit everyone in that terminal like a wave. This wasn't about protocol. This wasn't about rules or routes or clearances. This was about respect. This was about honoring someone who gave everything, and the brother who stood guard over him until the very last second. And that's when the clapping began. One person, then another. Then the entire terminal erupted in thunderous emotional applause, not out of pity, not even grief, but gratitude. People wept, strangers hugged, and the Marine, he gave a single perfect salute, then disappeared through the doors. Moral of the story? Before you raise your voice, raise your awareness. Before you enforce rules, understand the sacrifice behind the silence. And before you question someone's path, look at the weight they carry. Because sometimes what looks like a simple walk through an airport is actually the final chapter of someone's lifelong promise. If this story hit your heart, let us know. Comment your location and one emotion you felt. We read everything. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your engagement keeps these stories alive.